Alrighty, guys. So today I have an image sent to us that you're having some trouble. I am stumped. I have a 15 needle buying machine. My image comes out just right when I run Inkstitch simulator, but when I put a USB into the embroidery machine and program in the colors, some of the colors want to attach to other areas that aren't that color. I have grouped separately, manually traced it out, everything I can think of. Any videos on that or advice you can give me. I did reply to this email with a couple of minor fixes that should help. I then proceeded to ask permission to use the video or to use the image in a tutorial video for troubleshooting. So this entire video is troubleshooting this image. That's it. Let's go. What you're seeing now is the image sent to me. Just as it was sent to me, I have done nothing to it as of yet. I've looked through it and I found several things that need to be addressed. But we're going to take these one at a time. And I'm going to show you a few things you can do to help you troubleshoot. So what I do often when I get something I'm not familiar with to troubleshoot is I'll go through each one of these paths and figure out what do they do? What are they? So this image is hidden, so that's probably the original image. That's what it looks like. This path is the yellow fill for the lion's face. I'm going to show you something that I've not showed you before that you can do. You can select this particular path, go to Object Properties. On the ID, you can change that ID and change the name of it. On this particular one, we're going to set this to lion fill. Set. Now when we go back, now I know that that is the lion fill. And what is this? This is the background purple and the border. And if you notice, right there, that border, that yellow border right there is part of this lion fill. So we're going to fix that. We're going to name this. Actually, we're not going to name this. Yeah, we are. We're going to name this Object Properties, Purple Background. Hit set. Now when I go back, I've got purple background. I'm going to drop that down. I want that purple background to stitch out first. I don't want the border to stitch out on it. So I'm going to duplicate that. Now I have this path. I'm going to drop this down. I'm going to rename this object Properties. I'm going to rename this to BG Border. So now I have purple background, which we're going to set to make sure it has fill but no stroke. Go back to this one, and this one's going to be set to no fill, stroke. So between the two of those, we're doing the same thing. It's just in a different order. If I hide the purple background, I still have my borders. And then my border is just that. It's the border. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to set that stroke style a little bit bigger. We're going to set that change it from inches. We've got 1.49. We're going to change that to 1.75. And good. The lion fill. When I looked at it earlier, it looked like it had a stroke to it, which it does. I'm going to turn the stroke off on that lion fill. Now we only have fill. And we're going to go to path. We're going to go to extensions, Inkstitch, params. We're going to have just a quick look at it. Autofill 3, skip last row in each. I'm going to turn that off. And hit apply. I'm going to go back to the purple background and re-show it. So I haven't really done anything much. The only thing I did was I unset the border on that line fill. So the next thing I want to do is I want to take a quick look in the visualizer. Looking at right now, I'm just looking at the number of stitches and how many color changes are there. There's a lot of color changes going on here. I speed that up. We have 66,000 stitches. This is a roughly 8 by 8 inches piece, so 66,000 stitches, and it's almost entirely fill with some highlights. That's about the norm. But we need to look at the color changes here. Every one of these lines right here with the back and forth arrows, that's a color change. So you can see when we get down here to the end, there's a boatload of color changes. Doing more color changes than you have needles on that 15 needle machine. We're going to fix that. So what we should end up with, purple, yellow, light yellow, black, red, some other color. We should have about 6 color changes. That's what I'm looking for. I'm shooting for 6 color changes. So let's see if we can make that happen. So we're back in here. So right now I have purple background, yellow line fill, yellow border. We want to make sure that yellow line fill and that yellow background border, we want them to be the same. So I'm going to select the background border. I'm going to select this little eyedropper right here. And I'm going to push shift so that to make sure it's a stroke color, not a fill color. And I'm going to select that yellow. That is the line fill. So they should be the same color now. Okay, the next thing, that is a trim. We're going to hide that trim. As a matter of fact, let's select our whole piece. Let's go into extensions, Inkstitch. Commands, view, and display hide. Now we've hidden all of those. Okay, we're going to keep working. That one's fine. What is this? This is... Okay, that is all of the little black lines, which are not running stitches, by the way. Those are zigzag stitches. We're going to change that too. But in that same thing, we also have the black of the nose and the lighter color of also the nose. That is all in that one piece, but we're going to change that. So I want to rename this. To go to object properties. I want to rename this to B lines for black lines. That. What is this? That is the color red. And this is a lion with a crown of thorns that's cutting into him, and he's got some red dripping from it. So let's see what this one is. This is the black. This is the brown and black lines of the ears. So we definitely want to change that. We're going to change that to be fill for black fill. Object properties. Be fill. Set. And I want that to be in the same proximity of the black lines. So we're going to move that down right to there. Good. So with that done, I want, let's move it up one. I need to expand that, and I need to expand that because I want that and that and the eyes. I want those to be in that. We're going to just, with that highlighted, I'm going to select the command that's attached to that also. And that should be all of them. To make it easier on myself, I'm just going to pop these selections out of the group, which is going to plop them down right there. And I'm going to put them into the BG fill. Alrighty. So I missed, oh, looky there. There's a black circle that don't need to be there. We're going to delete that. And then that, and also that. Also needs to go into that B fill. Should be able to just do this. Pop those in there. Here's another little black fill that don't need to be there, so we're going to go ahead and delete that. Oh yeah. And these two things here, they don't need to be in that black trim section either. We're going to pop them out. Pop selection out of group. Boom. Don't know where that's going yet. So I might just go ahead and make that its own group. Good. All right. If I re-show that, it should just have the black fills. Okay. And also has these lines, which I don't want in that fill section. So those, that, I'm holding Control and Shift at the same time to individually select each one of those. And should be those. Ding, 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 ding. All right. And I'm just going to move them right down here into B lines. Good, good. Now, if I select, I'm going to drop them back down. If I hide B lines, I should only be hiding the lines. That's it. Looks good. And if I hide B fill, it should be all of the black. I do have some white in there for the eyes. We're just gonna get rid of that. And B fill. On the B fill, we're going to select this black right here so that they all have the same black fill. This right here, it has some white. We need to do away with that white. So it should be that one and that one. Let's just delete that. Good. Okay. Refill. I need to get rid of that one too, and we just need to fix it later. So delete that. That little tiny black fill will cause you problems. There's that fill, and should be it. What we'll do here, we'll fix that. I'm holding shift so I can multi-select these nodes. Then we're going to delete those nodes so that wraps around. I'm going to select those two nodes and make them straight. And that doesn't completely fix it, but it's pretty close. It's pretty close. So now with B-fill, I need to go into fill and stroke. I need to make sure there's no stroke. Select fill, and we're good. Go back to objects, re-show our lines. Select our lines and go into extensions, Inkstitch params. It's showing us stroke only on the params, so that tells us there's no fill. But they are all zigzag stitches. Don't really want that. Zigzag stitches that small don't do well on an embroidery machine usually. We're going to change that to running stitch, and we're going to set our bean stitch to 1 repeat. Hit apply and quit. Oh yeah. Let's see. That object is the red, I believe. Yes, it is. Let's make sure it's got fill and no stroke. Fill is supposed to be red, so we'll set that back to red. Most excellent. Okay. Image and okay, this looks like the crown. So let's see what the crown is doing. Stitch, visualize, simulate. Let's see what that's doing. So just in the crown, there are several color changes just in the crown. 1, 2, 3, 5, 7, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I'm up to 13 halfway through. There's a lot of color changes, and it's just a different shade of yellow. So yeah, be careful about that. Let's go ahead and fill this through. We got 4,523 stitches. We're going to fix all that. So on the crown, first thing we need to do is make sure they're all the same color. I'm going to push shift and hold it in so that my color selection only happens on the stroke, not the fill. And I'm just going to pick something roughly similar. But I like the darker. It's a little bit more prominent. You can see it a whole lot easier. After having done that, so now we've just that quickly, we fixed the number of color changes. There's a few other things I want to do. Extensions, Inkstitch. We already did the params, right? We already made it a running stitch. Apparently I didn't. So running stitch, bean stitch. Number of bean stitch repeats 1. Hit apply and quit. Extensions, Inkstitch, tool stroke. I want to auto route. Stitching. Extensions, Inkstitch params. Make sure my running stitch stuck. It did. Set it back to 1 bean stitch. Running stitch. We are good. We're going to throw that into a simulator. Even with that repeat bean stitch, we're down to 3,330 now. No color changes. Outstanding. What is that? Oh, that is, I did that, didn't I? Okay, that's our off color for the yellow nose. I want that to be down I want that to be before the black, I believe. So we're going to put that down here right before the B lines. Okay. So let's take a look at the whole piece, see where we're at. Oh, much better. You notice right here, there's several different color changes. Just, I believe that's where the nose is. That tells me there's probably a stroke on that nose. We're going to fix that. Right now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 8 color changes right now. And we can actually improve on that. Let's zoom this ahead. So far, so good. Zoom ahead a little more. Not bad. Not bad at all. If you look closely, there's a little bit of white space right in here. Probably not going to be able to get rid of all of that little bit of white space, but we're going to improve on that too. All right. 59,000 stitches. I don't remember what the 66,500 was before. A little bit improvement there. Not bad. So let's improve on a couple of other things. Right now we want to select that, which is the yellow of the snout. Let's go into fill and stroke. We want to make sure it has a fill. And we want that stroke to be a light shade of yellow. Pretty close to that, something like that. And no stroke. Outstanding. What was it? Oh yeah, the fill on the lion. The lion fill. Let's go into extensions, Inkstitch, params. On this expand right here, we're going to expand the fill just a little bit to see if we can fill in that gap. We're going to expand by 1 millimeter. That's going to expand a 0.5 millimeter in all directions. Close that out. Let's review the entire piece. Okay, so we cut down on the number of color changes. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 color changes. Zoom ahead. Much better. I don't see a gap. I do not see a gap now. That 1 millimeter fill fixed the gap, at least in the simulator. When you stitch it out on the real machine, you might have to increase that a little bit because of the pull comp. And speaking of pull comp, one of the last things we're going to do is on that border, this border right here, we're going to change that to satin stitch. So just hit extensions, Inkstitch, tools satin, convert line to satin. We're already 1.75 mil is what we set it at. Now go into, I have to reselect it. That's fine. Which one was our border? It looks like it. Lion path. Okay, so okay, that's fine. We're going to group that. All of these should be our new satin stitch lines. Inkstitch will often break it up when there's a lot of sharp turns, and there are a lot of sharp turns in there. So we're going to group. That is our our satin stitch border group. Go into extensions, Inkstitch, rams, and we're going to set a thing or two in here. That looks pretty good. There's a little squirrely stuff going on up here, but those really sharp corners like that are hard to do, but they don't look bad. It doesn't look bad at all. On our pull comp right here, pull comp percentage, not percentage, pull comp itself, millimeter. We're going to set that to a 0.2. And that should be all we need to do. Hit apply and quit. Now, we got the outside border, we got the other side of the border, and then it starts stitching the inside. So on this one here, we're going to give that a trim. Extensions, Inkstitch, commands. Attach command to selected layer. You can also do this in params. Hit close. Now, should be done. Yeah, I believe we're done. Extensions, Inkstitch, visualize, simulate. We have a total of 58,905 stitches from 66,000. Not a big difference, but certainly a easier piece for your machine to do. Easier to figure out what's going on. Definitely less color changes. Color changes, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 color changes. Everything's pretty good. So it's not a bad looking piece. You did good to get to where you were with it, right to that point. And that is the realistic preview. I like it. Looks good. So that's going to do it for this video. Just like always, every single time, thank you so much for watching. Until next time, I'm out.